Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel where we talk everything product and AI. Today I am very happy to be introducing you all to Airly, an AI app that helps you breathe better and live smarter. I'll walk you through step by step how I built it. Also, I'll share with you all my future plans for Airly. First, let's start with the problem. Did you know that 91% of world's population breathes polluted air? Yet most people don't even understand what today's air quality means for them. Children, seniors and runners are at highest health risk. The data is out there, but clarity nowhere. That's where Airly steps in. It translates complex air quality data into simple personalized health tips and eco-friendly action. You set your preferences once, that's all. Airly handles the rest for you, delivering your air safety verdict, tailored advices and smart ways to reduce your carbon footprint. Alright, enough talk, now let's see Airly in action. Hi, meet Airly. So first, what we are going to do is go to settings and change few things. Let's change the city to Hyderabad. Let's change the state to Telangana, and it's India, so we'll keep it as is. Let's change the profile type as child. Let's assume that I'm doing it for my child, and let's make the habit as school run. Now let me save the preferences. Now let's go back. Now when I click on check air quality, Airly will take all my personal information saved from the user preference and provide me personalized health tips and environmental tips. So Airly is processing now. It has rendered the information. It shows that air quality is 80, meaning moderate, meaning it is acceptable, but some may experience mild effect. So that's okay. Now let's click on health tips and within seconds it's gonna provide me personalized health recommendations. Alright, so the results are here. Let's read through. The first one says that limit prolonged outdoor play for children during peak pollution hours. Secondly, ensure children wear a child-size N95 mask if going outdoors in high traffic areas. And lastly, use air purifiers at home and keep the windows closed to maintain clean indoor air. So these are the recommendation from Airly. Now let's click on eco tips to get personalized environmental tips that my child can follow to reduce the environmental footprint. So it's processing and within few seconds it's gonna render the result. So it has already rendered the result. So let's read through. The first one says that time the school run to avoid peak pollution hours, use a child-size N95 mask during the commute to filter out airborne pollutants, and lastly, opt for shaded or less congested routes to minimize exposure to traffic-related emissions. So this is how Airly provides contextualized health tips, eco tips, and easy to understand air quality information.
This clean and beautiful UI is supported by 3 smart AI workflows. When I click on check air quality, an AI workflow is working in the background, which is getting us the real-time air quality data. In this case, it is 80. Not just that, it also classifies that data for us. In this case, it is moderate. And underneath that, we see a brief description so that we know what it means for us. Now, let's look at our AI workflow. It is called AQI data. So I have built it using Langflow, and those of you who are not familiar with Langflow, it's a low-code or no-code AI workflow builder. So in this workflow, as you see, I have used an API request, which uses HTTP request to make a call to this IQAir application, which is an external application that gives us the real-time air quality data. It's very simple, as you see. You create your API key, and this is my API key, by the way. It's going to be deactivated as soon as this video goes live. Anyhow, it's very simple to create. All you do is create your new API key, and your API key is going to look something like that. and you need to grab that, and I'll show you how to bind it in the AI workflow. So I have used this API request get method to make a call to IQAir application to get the real-time AQI data, and this API request is a tool to the agent. And for our agent, it's an LLM. I have used Grog as the model provider, and I have used Quen as the model. Let's now see the agent prompt. So as you see, it's pretty simple and straightforward. The agent is instructed to take the input string and extract city, state, and country from the input string, and again the input string is sent from Lovable. After that, we pass the city, state, and country information to the AQAir application and get the AQI data. What you see after the key, that's the API key. That's what we got from IQAir, right? So this is the format. This is how you bind the API request call. And after that, it gets the air quality value, and then its job is to classify that AQI data as good, moderate, unhealthy for sensitive group, unhealthy, or very unhealthy. So once the classification is done, then finally it is supposed to return only the following 3 parameters in JSON format, that is air quality value, category or classification of that value, and a short message within 4 to 5 words. And that's pretty much it. Now if I go back to the front end, so this is what the AI workflow returns to us: the AQI data, a classification which the LLM model does, and a short description so that a layman can understand what this number really means for them. So this is how this AI workflow works. Given that you guys now understand how the first AI workflow gets triggered when the user clicks on check air quality and gets us the AQI value, category, and description, now we are ready to move on to the next AI workflow, which is health tips. So as soon as the user clicks on health tips, these are the personalized health tips that the user gets to see on this card. Behind the scene, there is another AI workflow which is running in the background, which is this. This AI workflow is called AQI Health Tips. Now, let me take you to the playground and let me show you what's happening. So, this AI workflow is getting this value as the input string passed from the front end, which includes the AQI value, AQI category, and child, which is the profile type. So this AQI data, this is something that we learned previously. The previous AI workflow, it made a call to the IQAir application and it got, and then it gave the classification. So see how we are leveraging what was done by the first AI workflow without reinventing the wheel. Now if we scroll down, we see that it's the same LLM Queen that I have used for this as well. And yeah, this is how it generates the personalized health tip recommendation, which got displayed here. And now let me close this. Now let's take a closer look at the AI workflow. It's pretty simple and straightforward. It has a chat input, which takes the input string from Lovable, and then it passes that to the agent. And in terms of our agent, it's the same model provider and model that I have used. Now let's look at the prompt. The prompt looks something like this. You are a wellness assistant providing personalized health tips. You will receive an input string, something like this: AQI value, category, and profile type, which we saw at the beginning of the demonstration for this segment in the playground, right? After it receives the input string, it is supposed to extract the AQI number, category, profile type, and then based on this information, it is supposed to generate 3 specific or personalized health tips. Once it does that, then it is expected to provide that in the form of JSON payload to the front end. And towards the bottom, I have mentioned that only return this three information, nothing else, so that the front end and back end communication remains seamless. So that's about it. Now if we go to the front end, this is exactly what we see here. Now we are ready to look at the last AI workflow, that is when the user clicks on Eco tips, this section on the UI gets render, and this is what is generated by the third AI workflow. So let me now go to the AI workflow. So it is called AQI Eco tips. Let's click on playground to see the response. So this is the input string this agent got from the front end, which includes the AQI value, category, profile type, and activity that the user engages. And the profile type and the activity are stored in the user preference. And the AQI data and the category it got from the first agent. Now if I scroll down, so I have used the same LLM Quinn, and based on the agent prompt, it generated the smart actions, which helps the user to reduce their environmental footprint. And this is exactly what you see on the front end. Now let me close this and let's take a closer look at the AI workflow. So this agent workflow is pretty simple. It has a chat input, and in terms of the LLM, it's the same LLM provider Grok and a Quinn model that I have used. Now let's take a closer look at the prompt. As you see, this AI agent, it receives the input string just like the previous one with additional parameter like the daily habit or the activity. Its job includes first extracting all the information from the input string, that is AQI number, AQI category, profile type, daily habit. After that, it is supposed to look at all of this information together collectively and then return 3 personalized carbon saving actions which the user can take to reduce their environmental footprint. Finally, it is expected to return the 3 actions in a JSON format so that the communication between the front end and the back end is seamless. And towards the end, you would see I have mentioned to the agent that it is only supposed to return this, nothing else. And that's pretty much it. That is exactly what you see on the front end. So yeah, this is how these 3 smart AI workflows work together in tandem, but yet modular in nature to make the solution work end to end. Given that you guys now understand that this interface is supported by 3 AI workflows, I'm now going to move on to the overall integration. In other words, how did I integrate all these 3 AI workflows with Lovable? In past, I have made multiple videos on this topic. I'll put the thumbnail on this section, as well as I'll put the link in the description box below so that you can check those out. All in all, there are 4 integration in this application. At the beginning of the demonstration, you guys have seen how I have integrated the first AI agent with IQAir, this application, externally. So I made the HTTP call here to establish that connection. So that was done inside Langflow. Now I'm going to talk about how I have integrated those 3 AI workflows inside Lovable. For ease of understanding, I'll go to a Word document and I'll show you the 3 integration prompts step by step so that you guys can easily follow and implement in your application. Now let's look at the integration prompt. For ease of understanding, I have put everything in this Word document so that I can explain to you all step by step each thing. But towards the end, I'll also be showing you this exact prompt in Lovable just for your reference. Okay, so let's start. We'll start off with this check air quality AI endpoint. So the first thing is you would have to specify the HTTP method. In our case, it's post followed by the endpoint URL. And in the header section, you have to specify the content type, which is application JSON, and the authorization bearer token. So both will grab from the Langflow. So let's actually go back to our AI workflow. So this is the AQI data AI workflow. So just to get your endpoint details, what you would have to do is, if you haven't watched my previous videos, you'd have to click on publish, then API access, then you're going to see 3 tabs, Python, JavaScript, and curl. You can get or grab your endpoint from anywhere. So I'll grab it from here. So this is our public URL of our endpoint. Let's now grab that, and to get your authentication
or application token, what you do is click on generate token, and within seconds it's going to generate your token. Grab that and go back. Let's go back to our prompt document. So that's essentially the endpoint URL and the authorization bearer token. So these are the two key pieces of information when it comes to the API endpoint. We also have to specify the payload format, and I generally also give an example so that the LLM, or basically the front end and the back end, there are no miscommunication. So let's look at our payload format. So it's going to be input type, essentially what the front end is sending to the back end. With context to this first AI workflow, as you guys have seen in the demo, the front end is sending the city, state, and country separated by hyphen, and both the input and output type are chat, meaning the front end is sending the input value in the form of chat, in other words, natural language, and the back end is also sending the final output in the form of chat, in other words, natural language, NLP. And the session ID is early underscore user underscore one. In other words, I would like all of this to be logged under this session ID so that if I need to troubleshoot, I can easily do that. So that's our payload format. And just as I said, for ease of communication or ease of understanding for Lovable and Langflow, I always give an example so that there are no ambiguity whatsoever. As you see, in the input value I've specified, typical input value would look something like this: San Francisco hyphen California hyphen USA. So this is our city, state, country, and both input type and output type is going to be in the form of chat, and a typical session ID value could look like early underscore user underscore one. So that's about it. These are all the integration details that you would need to, give it to Lovable Dev
to complete the integration successfully.
Now moving on to the next integration, which is for health tips. So this one is also no different from the previous one, but still I'll quickly, go through it. Again, we use the HTTP method as post. We specify the endpoint URL as well as the authorization bearer token
in exact same manner from Langflow.
And in the payload format, it's going to be a little different from the first one, because here the front end sends to Langflow the AQI value, AQI category, and profile, right? So these two values it gets from the first API endpoint. Then in the session, it stores it, and along with the profile type, it sends all of this as input string separated by hyphen. So that's that. And so in terms of an example, I've also given that AQI is 180, moderate, elderly. So
that's pretty much what we have in the second AI workflow. To help you all connect the dots, let's go back to Langflow. This is our second AI workflow.
Let's go to playground. So this is the input string which the front end sends to backend, right? The AQI data, category, and the profile type. So this is input, the AI does the magic, and this is output. So both input and output are in the form of chat. And as I said, I like the session ID to be named like this or stored like this, so that if I need to see whether the AI workflow ran or not, how much time it took, or if there are error, it is easy for me to do the troubleshooting. Okay, now let's go back to the prompt template. Now we'll quickly look at the third integration prompt. Again, this is no different from the previous two. First, we specify the method, which is post, followed by the endpoint URL and the authorization bearer token, both of which you grab from the Langflow interface. Then you specify the payload, and in case of this, the payload is slightly different from the previous one, because we are not just passing the AQI value, category, profile, we are also passing the activity, and both profile and activity are stored in user preference, and these two values are received from the first AI workflow, and all of this together, it sends to the backend in the form of an input string. And both input type and output type are chart, and the session ID, I would like it to be stored under this name so that it is easy for me to troubleshoot or look at the logs. And lastly, I have also given an example so that
It's again easy for Lovable dev to understand exactly what to expect so that there are no rendering error. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. This is a glimpse of the exact prompt I have used to integrate the health tips button with Langflow. So as you see, first I have explained it to the agent how it is supposed to construct the input, send it to Langflow via post request. Then I have specified the endpoint URL, followed by in the header I have specified the content type and authentication bearer token, and towards the end I have specified the payload format, that is input value, output type, and session ID, and that's all. In similar fashion, I have integrated eco tips with Langflow endpoint. So first, I have given the agent instructions around how to construct the input string. Then I have mentioned how to send the post request to Langflow API endpoint. In other words, I have specified the method as post and the endpoint URL as you see there. Followed by in the header, I have specified the content type, authentication bearer token, and towards the end, I have given an example of the payload format. And that's pretty much it. And finally, this was my first prompt to Lovable to integrate the check air quality button with our backend Langflow API. Again, nothing new to explain. It's essentially the same process that I have explained earlier. Step 1 is specifying the input string, followed by the API connection details, and that's pretty much it. Here's where Airly is headed. In the short term, I'm focused on launching the beta with core features, expanding air quality data coverage, and refining it with user feedback. Next, in the medium term, Airly will go deeper, adding richer AQI insights, integrating with wearables, and expanding to over 20 major cities worldwide. And for the long-term vision, I see Airly becoming a movement. We'll drive community-led air quality initiatives, add gamifications and competitions, and build predictive alerts so that you know tomorrow's risk before they happen. This is more than just an app. It's about shaping healthier cities together. Thanks for watching till the end. With Airly, my mission is very simple: to make air quality data accessible for everyone. However, the real goal of sharing how I have built the app is to show you that even you can create something meaningful and use AI to solve real world social problems. That, I believe, is the most noble and powerful use of AI. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe so that together we can spread the word and spark changes.